what have you taught your kids about money? Because I believe that over time your idea of money and the way you think about it has evolved. So what have you taught them about money, and how have you gone about doing it?
We have several directions when it comes to money. Actually, our focus is more on wealth. For instance, one of our mantras as a family is 2 Corinthians 9:8. The children recite it, which really summarizes the mindset that we have all sufficiency for every good work, every good work. So for us, if I may get a little bit more specific, for the benefit of, a couple of parents out there, we operate, all the children know, my 3 children I have, from one is going on 8, 7, and 4. So it's a 5-fold direction. Huh? So they know whenever they get money, even because they have little piggy banks, whenever they get money, the 5-fold direction that money is handled. First, they know we give to God. Number 2, we save. Actually, I have a little person here trying to recite. We give to God, we save, we help the poor, we do business, so we invest, and then lastly, then we can spend on yourself, spend on family, spend on your loved ones. So every form of money they access has to go through that. So the exciting part that may be a little bit more practical is on the part of business or invest. Yeah, we are blessed that we have a supportive family in terms of from their grandparents are involved. Our grandfather gave one of our children a cow many years, actually I think when he was born, and it remained a calf as is tradition until you pick it. So years later, I think when he turned 5, they sold off his heifer cow and he got 3.6 million shillings. This was a 5-year-old. So he gets 3.6 million, and it was important for us we went with him to the bank, we withdrew the money, sat down with him, counted it, and then asked him, what are you going to do with it? So he started splitting. So he put together his 360,000, which was a tithe. He took it to his man of God, not me, but it went through the 5-fold channel, So on the side of investment, especially what parents could do out there is, one of our children had, in school, they would go for swimming because he's also passionate about swimming. That's why we follow the Moise family. But he realized they'll not let children his age, right from I think 6, even from 5, they'll only play around in call it the shallow side. So he realized if I had a floater with my school instructors, they would let me go over to the deep side. So he buys a floater, and then other children want it. And that was one of his first investments. He was buying those little floaters. And actually, I think getting them for 10,000 shillings, he was selling them to parents at 30. So there are a couple of things that children can literally sell. Right now, because we're just coming out of the harvest, they planted maize a couple of months ago. And right now, they are selling it. So they give, within family members and neighbors, they give 1 cob of maize for testing, and they sell the rest. And he's collecting. Another core principle for us as the Ravo says is money is earned. Mose mentioned the scripture that I liked, and one I prefer to recite, we recite for them with my wife, is Proverbs 19:4, which says, the rich man has many friends, but poor person is. So for us as a household, 5-fold process, that's what we take them through. We teach them money is earned, similar to what Jeremy hinted. When they go to shops, because now they have learned the trick, Jeremy's trick of not giving them enough money to go with. So before we go to the shop, they had started this, especially the little sister. They say this concept of, let me get some money from my bank. Let me get money from my bank as we go to the shop. And we've been teaching them, first plan what you want to buy. If you can't tell me what you want to buy specifically, that I want to buy this item and it's 1,000 shillings, I'm not letting you get the money. So first round is they go to the shops and they will ask around. Then they have to come back home. Then another time we're going to the shop, they'll be more specific. They'll say, I want to buy water bubbles. How much they cost 2,000. If you're forgotten, sorry, you'll have to go without money.
Wow. The fivefold process. I know you really do deserve a hand clap. I think that that's really key in terms of teaching kids, and it's a holistic approach to teaching children about money. Giving it to God and then giving to the poor as well. Budgeting or rather saving and then investing. I think that that's really really fantastic. You did touch on what I.
Rachel, may I add one thing?
Yeah,
For
sure.
30 seconds.
Hmm.
Yeah, so someone insists. We've also been teaching them about currency.
Oh, okay.
Like Jeremy hinted.
Yeah.
Our children go to SCE schools. They go to a brilliant school, and even with SCE international schools, they're learning about quarters and cents and pennies and dollars, which is okay. But we have intentionally been teaching them now about Ugandan shillings, especially in this session. So someone wanted to explain just briefly. This is a manzi. So manzi asifiwe, how many paper notes do we have of Ugandan currency?
6.
And which are they? What color are they? What pictures on them?
1,000, it's brown and has an antelope. 2,000 has fish and it's blue. And then you skip 3,000 and 4,000 and you go to 5,000. That is green and has birds.
The next
10,000, it's purple and it has matoke. And 20,000, it's red. It's a cow.
And the last one?
15,000 is yellow and it's a gorilla.
All right, thank you.
I think
I hope you're going to pay him for the right answer.
I know, right? He deserves some money.
Yeah.
Maybe while still there, Rachel, you could invite parents to bring their children to the Bank of Uganda Museum, because there they learn the history of money right from the cowrie shells to now. That is an opportunity. You could invite people to be bringing their kids, but when the lockdown is open and people can visit.
Wow, that's I didn't know that existed. But yeah, if you do want to teach your kids about the history of money, I think that would be a very good opportunity. So maybe even as we wrap up, Joe talked about something that I would like us to discuss a little bit. That many times when parents are looking for ways to teach their kids about money and the value of earning, is they look to chores, and that the lines can get blurry when it comes to teaching them that chores are a good responsibility. And then also, I want to teach you about money and earning. So, what are your views and thoughts on that? And how do you make sure that they understand that you must lay your bed, you must mop the house, and nobody's going to pay you for it, versus you need to work to earn? What are your thoughts on that? Very quickly, we'll go around.
Thank you so much, Rachel. First of all, it's important to know that kids learn through observation more than what you tell them. So it's very easy for you to tell them to be generous, to do this, to what, but if you're not doing it, they see through the stories and the lies and everything. So for me, the very first thing is to demonstrate it. So when you get up in the morning and you lay your bed, you don't have to be paid for it because it's just the right thing to do. Or when you clean your room, or when you brush your teeth, or when you take a shower, you don't have to be paid to take a shower. So like Joe said, there's a list of chores that they can get paid for because you're trying to teach them the value of working, okay? But then there's also another list of things that they don't have to do, but if they did, it's a good thing to do in the home. You know, it's good for you to clean your room, it's good for you to go to bed early and things like that. So for me, it's a case of knowing what is what. So the kid has a choice whether to do it or not. If they do it, they know they'll earn from it. If they don't do it, then, you know, they won't earn from it. But then there are those chores which are really mandatory that they have to do. That's really one thing. Just to slip in also something to do with generosity. When it comes to generosity and giving, you need to demonstrate it to the children. For example, when you go out to a restaurant and you're tipping, they need to know you're tipping and they need to see you tipping because you're trying to teach them something. So it's got to do with demonstrating more than just telling them what to do. Thank you.
I think, Rachel, we should distinguish between child labor and then the domestic chores that kids must learn and grow up, which will help to grow up in, which will inculcate into them a sense of responsibility. Now, there are specific examples I could give in other jurisdictions. If you look at the Indian setting, Indians go with their children to their shops, and the children work in the shops. They see how business is done, how money is saved. They see where the safe is. And Indian, you will die, but that safe will not be opened. That money is for investment, is for business. So while doing that, they are actually doing some work, and they can be paid at the end of the day, a small stipend. You can also arrange some kids. I have seen somebody whose kid is very brilliant, and she put together 4 or 5 other kids who need help with academics. Now, when those kids come, the parents bring some little money, and this kid who is quite brainy helps them. So you can small businesses where they offer a service, incentivize them to memorize good manners and what. You can once in a while give them some little money for something they have done, even though it's for their own benefit. There should be a distinction. I've seen people whose children, whose fathers are mechanics, and the children learn to be mechanics, mostly in Old Kampala and those Muslim territories. You find most of the children in Kisenyi are mechanics because their parents were mechanics. So you go to a garage and there's always a Kadogo, there's always a Muref, there's always a Brown. You know, those people, they learn even when they are still below 18 years. So it can't really be child labor, but it's some kind of apprenticeship where they learn and they get paid. So we could develop around all those areas and identify businesses where kids can participate in and things that they can do for a reward, which is not mandatory.
I was agreeing with both of these gentlemen, Jeremy and Isaac. But one very distinctive thing that Jeremy mentioned was the fact that children learn by observation. And so it's very true that we must lead by example. We must practice, so to speak, what we preach. Yeah. So again, that's something which we need to strive to show, to demonstrate, so that the children, it will be easy for them to say that, but if the adults are doing it, then it will just fall in place. Regarding chores, I don't subscribe to the theory that we should pay children to do the chores, and I think many people here agree. When you're a part of the family, you must play your role. You must clean where you stay. You must, yeah. But I think I agree with the view that if they do extra work, and I think Joe was very, very spot on. If they do some extra things which are slightly out of the usual, you can find a way of paying them. I've had to teach children, to be used to money, so they are not excited. Some of us, much as we were being gifted here and there, we never got too used to money. So I would also like our children to understand that much as money should not be something to die for, you should be used to it. So when they do these other extra work, you remunerate them. There's something that I used to struggle with about the tooth fairy. I don't know the experience here of tooth fairies. When we grew up at some point, when you lost your tooth, there would be money under your pillow. And the explanations were not very clear. So we decided that for me, I am the official tooth fairy. There are no gray areas. When someone loses their tooth, they bring it to me, provided they bring the tooth, So the idea really has been that children get used to money, but they also understand that it has to be earned. I think it was Joe or Jeremy who emphasized that point. It has to be earned. In our side hustles, we give them some small tasks. Our firstborn, Matthew, is very interested in computers and has got some special skills. So he's always doing audios and posters for us to do these different jobs. So we pay him on a daily, on periodically, on a monthly basis, 100K, 150, when he does this work. And some people have noticed that these skills, and they've started giving him work. We've encouraged them to start a YouTube channel where they post and teach people about chess and the like. So they've been struggling and striving to ensure that they get people to sign up. And so we've showed them that there's opportunities that they can use. But for them to understand that they should start working with money.
As we wrap up, I just want you to mention one thing in a few seconds that you'd want the audience to go away with. If they have forgotten the multitude of things that you have said, one thing that you'd like for a parent out there to know, even as they try and mold their children and teach them about money.
Thank you so much, Rachel and all the gentlemen. Just to say that I've learned so much from Moses, from Joe, from Isaac, from you, Rachel. Really, thank you so much. What I would say as my parting shots is, like I said earlier, children learn by demonstration. And so you have to show them beyond just telling them what to do. If you're practicing these things and they're seeing you do it, they will pick it up quickly. So do it and demonstrate it. Every moment with a child is a teaching moment. So demonstrate and they will fall in line. Thank you.
The Honorable Lutaya sang a song, which when translated is that you work hard, so hard, and then when you die, the first thing your son or daughter does is sell the property to buy a Benz just to drive. What does that show? It shows that when you're working hard in your full-length work life, it's useless if you have not involved your children in your financial growth or in your investments or in the acquisition of materials. We know money is important in all aspects of life. Money can reduce pain, money can increase happiness, money can make you comfortable, money can take you places, it can enlarge your experience. So given the centrality of money in our lives, we should make sure that when we are living and able, we should involve our children, we should teach them responsible financial behavior, we should teach them how to do all the 5 things that one of the gentlemen said. And quite a lot of things have been shared here, which if I don't know who will summarize them in a PowerPoint of sorts. It's very important that children understand these things. Otherwise, you die and within 6 weeks, all your property is gone, all your farms are being sold, all your cars are being mortgaged because you didn't teach your children how to money in a financial manner.
Well, without having to repeat what Jeremy and Isaac said, and which I totally agree with, I think one other thing we can also do is to find a way of involving children in decision making. I think many people here might agree when we grew up, our decisions were restricted to certain things. I know particular families that sit on a round table and they explain the resources they have and everybody, contributes. It's a school of thought. Many people have got their own way. But I think in general, we need to consult children in financial decisions, and we also need to hear their views. Sometimes we take children for granted. We don't give them that opportunity to air out what they think because they're only children. But if everybody here can look back how far they come, you can realize that, there's things you'd appreciate as your child, but perhaps you didn't have a voice, an opportunity. So I think as parents, as dads, we can empower our children and hear them more and allow them to speak out. Their ideas don't have to be the very best, but as they keep talking, their confidence grows. And with time, obviously, they should be able to make better decisions. One last thing is Joe shared here a book. It was something about infants. It was a nice book. You flashed a book. Can you reflash it? Investing for kids. I think one other thing we need to do is to encourage children to read and understand. We need them to learn about financial discipline. I think Isaac might have said it in a different way. They need to understand some basic tenets that bring out the discipline of one financially. There are some basic things that keep you organized, that help you to prosper, that help you to get going. We need to teach these things to children early. And I think you had mentioned the age of 7, Rachel. I hope we're not too late, wherever it is we started from. My wife and I have been doing a book called The Real Life MBA by Jack Welch, which is not really for children, but to discuss it with them, and you hear they have got very interesting views. So we can also encourage children to do this literature, to study. Children spend a lot of time on gadgets. We are struggling. I don't know. I've had someone mentioning an iPad or a tablet here that got spoiled, and I'm sure all of us have got issues of how to manage with gadgets, and the time they're spending on gadgets is just a lot. You can find a way of channeling some of this energy so that they can, educate themselves in financial matters.
Thank you, Mount Love. Thank you, Richard. It's been an honor being on this platform and interacting with these wise gentlemen. On my side, I just have two parting thoughts I would love to leave. But before I get to the two, I would love for us and parents out there to look at Ryan's story. Ryan Kaji, Kaji, Mwase mentioned one of, I think, oldest child having a YouTube channel. My 7-year-old has just started one a few weeks ago. But Ryan, based in the US, started a YouTube channel called Ryan's World. By then it was Toys Review. This is 6 years ago at the age of 4, right? And currently for the past 3 years, Ryan has been the #1 YouTube earner in the world, not among children. I mean globally. Globally, Ryan, who is 9, he'll make 10 later on in the year, has been the #1 YouTube earner in the world. Most of your children or their children's friends watch him. Yeah. How much is that? He's made 20 million 2019. Last year was 25. This year, as in from 2020 to 2021, he has already made $30 million, right? Age 9. Expose your children as much as possible. Yes, you get concerned about exposing them to the wrong material, but if you're an intentional parent who's not going to turn on the TV and send them to the bedroom or send them away, then expose your children. Be intentional. Expose them, I think, to 2 things. 1, expose them to wealth, and expose them to the need for wealth. So I think parents out there, we should be deliberate about this training, right? Same way in sports, if you listen to Tiger Woods' father's story, the Serena, the Williams sisters, their parents were Usain Bolt, from a young age, their parents were deliberate. So their success was not accidental. Neither was it based on talent alone. But right. For me, that is very key. Dedicate some time aside to train, like the scripture says, to train our children about these principles, etc. That would like. That would be my final remarks.
Wow. You guys. Thank you so much.
Kaunaki, what is Kaunaki?
Victoria Nile.
Sorry?
Rachel, that's Victoria Nile. Victoria Nile for you, Ginger.
Oh, well, yeah, Victoria Nile has just displayed wisdom here. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your wisdom and for lending us your time, sharing your insights into how you're training your children and teaching them about money. I hope that our audience has picked something. I'm sure they have. If you have a comment, maybe you want to ask a question to any one of these gentlemen, please do leave it in our comment section. And until next time, with love from Bump Club. Bye-bye.